Okay, so we've got all of our mounting equipment in place. The CineBright can be placed in different spots along the mount here. Typically what you want is to fill about as much of the mirror as you can. In our little example here, we have a pretty long focal length lens, so we're only going to fill so much. I do have the CineBright spaced pretty far forward from the lens, specifically to fill that mirror. Shorter throw lens, most applications, you will be closer to the lens, but you do not want to be too small on the mirror. It will make the alignment much more difficult. So I would recommend bring it out about as far as you can, fill as much of the mirror as you can, but obviously without getting into the edges of the mounts. First thing we'll do is just center it side to side. I like to use these little marks as a reference. I can see this is off center, so I'll slide that over a bit. Now of course, I can stand in front of the CineBright, which probably will not be able to do in most projection booths, but maybe come in with a ruler, hold a piece of paper up, do something, some method of making sure that is centered side to side. If it's not, you will have a lot more problems or possibly not be able to align it at all if these basic mechanical adjustments are not done. So we're going to call that good side to side. The next thing I'm going to look at is the height of my entrance window. I can see right now I'm clipping a little bit, I'm low, so I'll lower the back a little bit. Now I'm starting to clip on the top. There's the bottom, so I'm going to just center somewhere in there. Now the next thing I'll do, this front adjustment will set our angle. And I want to adjust that so that the light hitting the mirror, I'm not looking at the light on the entrance window, but looking inside at the mirror, seeing where the light is hitting on that, and I want to center that to be in the middle, not too high, not too low, but in the middle. So I can see now that I'm low on the mirror. So I will adjust this angle until I'm pretty much centered on that mirror. This is another one. If this is off, what you will often end up with if you're too high or too low on the mirror, you'll find that as you're trying to align with CineBright, you'll be able to get the top edge of the test pattern and the bottom edge of the test pattern aligned, but your center point will be off vertically. So when you're doing your alignment, if you find that you get top and bottom edge, but not the middle, this is most likely the reason. Go back, double check this. Depending on your theater, all of the geometry, you may actually need to take this slightly off center in order to get it to align correctly on the screen. But for the most part, centered on that mirror is going to be your best bet. You also want to check to make sure that you're not twisted relative to the screen. You really want this face of this parallel to the screen. You can check that with a laser pointer just to something along the edge of the CineBright. What I'll usually do is check one side, check the other. That way I can just see where it's hitting on the test pattern and get it centered on that. Another trick is if you are checking with the laser off of the base, you want to be basically just a little bit under center of the test pattern on the screen. But again, really focus on making sure that you have the light centered on the mirror itself.